Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. September 16th, 2024. Did that in Comic Sans today. What the heck? We got to switch things up, right? My name's Tom Coffey. We're at Coffee and Nuance. We're streaming live right now. We're on X, we're on YouTube, and we're on Rumble. We're on the road to 420 for the meme. So if you're not following me on Rumble, please do. But today I've got an interesting idea to talk about, and it's amazing that it actually happens in real life, and that is this denial to virtue loop. You probably haven't heard about it because I just coined the phrase, but it's an idea you may have heard about before. So let's get into it. Okay, here we are, the denial to virtue loop. Scoot over here and don't have my mouse working. So we'll try to get through it. Anyway, welcome to the show. Too much stuff here. Move that out of the way. Okay, welcome to the show. Today we're diving into the mind-bending media trip. It's called the denial to virtue loop. It's an idea I first saw expressed by Rob Henderson on X. So here's how it works. Step one, it's not really happening. It's like when you got that friend that insists they don't need GPS to get to your house, and then they end up 3 states away, right? The media does this too. Oh, the reports of people eating geese, total BS. They act like it's a fake news story, only to get you hooked for the next step. Yeah, that's right. Step 2, it's happening. It's no big deal. No big deal. It's like, sure, it's like saying, I've got to find a way to do this better. Anyway, it's like saying, sure, your house is on fire, but have you seen how nicely the flames look? Hey, they downplay it so hard, it's as if they did it, right? I didn't eat the cookie, says the child with crumbs on his face. Yeah. Now, step 3, it's a good thing, actually. This is where things get real Orwellian. It's like discovering that eating 12 donuts a day is a new health trend. Look at this. The sugar's actually good for your mood. It's the media's way of turning a problem into a solution. Because nothing says solving a crisis like pretending the crisis was a good idea all along. Step 4, people freaking out. They're the real problem. You're concerned about a burning house. Well, clearly you're the one with the issues. The media then positions itself as the hero, while you, my friend, are the villain for being sane and rational. And I got to say, Jessica Burbank on Rising is a master of this loop. Watching her is like seeing a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat if the rabbit were made of absurdity and the hat were an endless pit of media spin. She'll deny, downplay, spin, and then blame you for having any concern. It's a masterclass in cognitive dissonance. So the next time you hear the media outlet trying to walk you through this loop, remember, they're not just twisting reality. They're offering you a free ride through the world of misinformation. The denial to virtue loop. Remember, reality is often stranger than fiction, especially when the media is involved. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the least watched censored commentary news show live. Right now, blame on. So this isn't my idea. This is a tweet from a couple years ago from Rob Henderson. Step 1, it's not really happening. Step 2, yeah, it's happening, but it's not a big deal. Step 3, it's a good thing, actually. Step 4, people freaking out about it, they're the real problem. And so I just decided to name this the denial to virtue loop, because why not, right? We name things here on this show. But denial, right? So here's step 1, right? The initial response is just dismiss it, deny that something is happening at all. So any claim of an unusual behavior or an issue, that's false, that's exaggerated, that's no good. Then when it turns out that there's, evidence for it, right? Just downplay it, right? If the denial fails, then the response is just to shift, just a quick little shift, a little pivot to just minimize the significance of the issue. It's acknowledged but portrayed as a totally minor concern, okay? Sure, it's happening. It's not a big deal. Well, now what do? Step 3, that's where we reframe it as a positive. If downplaying it doesn't work, the situation needs to be reframed as good, as beneficial. So the problematic behavior is now it has a hidden virtue or an advantage. And lastly, step 4, just blame the critics. Change the focus to anyone criticizing this, anyone concerned about this issue. They're the real problem for causing all this alarm. People who are upset about this, they're the ones that are making it worse. So this loop is used to manipulate public perception, especially in the media, and by moving from denial all the way to virtue signaling and blaming critics. So that's what I've named it. But I want to give you an example. This was on Friday's Rising, the Hills Rising show, and it had Jessica Burbank. And I actually was able to find all 4 in the same clip. So they're talking about, what's happening in Ohio, the geese, the pets, Haitian migrants, refugees, whatever we're describing them as. Anyway, let's see. I think I need to get on this side of this. Here we go. Here's step 1.
There's been no founding evidence of this. There have been no police reports of this. And so, of course, it's upset residents who have no idea maybe how to fact check or haven't gotten the news that, this isn't true, that it is a conspiracy theory, that there is no factual basis in this.
There you go. It's a conspiracy theory. Nothing to it. Wait, there may be something to it?
I think, yes, there have been journalists that have called the police, asked for police reports. People are reporting on the city council meetings. People have been on the ground in Springfield, Ohio, talking to folks there. I've seen countless interviews of journalists on the streets talking to people about these rumors. So,
yikes. Okay, well, now we need to shift to step 3.
Canadian geese are an invasive species. So if the migrants would like to kill them and eat them, that is actually beneficial to the ecosystem in the United States, despite their name.
They're an invasive species, everyone. If the migrants are killing these geese, they're doing us a favor. Lastly,
that really is the kind of fear-mongering that causes people to think they need to take a violent act against the migrants because they're afraid that their communities are under attack. And so spreading that lie is a dangerous one.
So if you're spreading this lie that might be true, and if it's true, it's a good thing. But even if you're doing that, you're the real problem because you're the one that's causing all of the hassle. All 4 in one clip. Usually the way that this works is a story will come out and first the media will start reporting it. This is BS, right? And then usually it takes a day or two before it's acknowledged. And then it's maybe another day, another news cycle, and it's a good thing, And then the next news cycle is, but to get all 4 in the same clip, that's pretty incredible. I thought that was fun to share, just to demonstrate how this denial to virtue loop works. And I think that's a pretty decent example of it. I will be going through all your comments in the after show. So feel free to leave a comment and I will we'll read it here just in a minute. But we do see these shifts that the media plays. And the thing is, the reason you're like, Tom, why do you keep coming up with names for things? Why do you do that? It's because when you name something, it helps you identify it. Okay. The only way that I could remember this thing was I would actually just like search for it. Right. It's like step 1, it's not real. Step 2, it's no big deal. And then I kept coming up with this Rob Henderson tweet. I was like, okay. So I mean, I don't know, maybe we should call it the Rob Henderson loop or something, but I think denial to virtue loop kind of describes what's happening. But when you name something, then it's easier for you to identify. Now that you've been clued in to this loop, now it's going to make it a lot easier for you to identify it when the media is doing this. One thing, if you ever watch Rising on the Hill on their channel, they do this quite often. But now it's going to be a lot easier for you to identify it. And so that's why I like sharing this stuff with you all. Also to help me work it out for myself, right? Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Stick around the after show. I'll go through all your comments, and I'll be back on Wednesday. Have a good one. Peace. Here we are. We got the, what do we got? The comments on the screen. We can get, let's see what we do. There we go. Well, that's not quite right. Yeah, there we go. We'll do this. Anyway, what's up, John? Joe, LFG, love it. Guten Abend. Nice to see you, Muggsy, over there in Germany. Is that where it is? Can't remember. Muggsy says they're totally eating geese. Photos, videos, local people responding to the police. I haven't seen enough evidence, but how much evidence do you need? Right? How much evidence do you need? If you had 100 geese at the park, and now there's a whole bunch of geese missing at the park, it's not an unreasonable thing to think. In fact, on Friday, I talked about the term baseless. And did you catch the news media over the weekend on the Sunday shows? Boy, every single one of the Sunday shows used the term baseless when they were talking about that. So, I don't know. I think I should get some points or something. But yeah, they all use the term baseless, especially on, Meet the Press. Oh, baseless, baseless, baseless. With the exception of all the reasonable reason that might happen. Anyway, Joe says, what stage are you at with eating cats and dogs? Well, I don't think that there's a ton of evidence that they're eating cats and dogs, but might not even be the point. The point is, if you bring up something legitimate, it should be, the real question should be, is it true? And rather than looking at, is it true, the media seems to go through this cycle of they just dismiss it. It's a conspiracy theory. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, but if they're killing these Canadian geese, which might be an invasive species, well, then it might be a good thing, right? But it's totally not real. And now all of these charges that, that there've been bomb threats or something like that in Springfield, that's all the point. That's all because of people are spreading this conspiracy theory. The whole thing is just nuts. The whole thing is just nuts. I just wanted to bring about this idea of just watching the media shift how they talk about a story based on how much you know. We'll even see this today. There was an attempt on Trump yesterday out at his golf course, and immediately we'll go through all of these steps, or probably most of these steps, in the media discussion of it. First, it will be, there might be claims that this guy, this guy might, you know what? I'm not even going to speculate on that. I'll put that aside until Wednesday. Muggsy says to be a Democrat nowadays means that whatever you see or witness before your own face, you must shake your head and say no, 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 never happens. Simply explained. That's a lot the case. Swearim DJ, what's up, party people? Yeah, we're having a party today. Glad you're here. What was the term again? Cognitive what? Cognitive dissonance. And if I mispronounced that wrong, then that's on me. I'm not wearing my glasses while I'm reading today, and what are we going to do, right? But cognitive dissonance, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. So there you go. Never underestimate an intelligent person's ability to rationalize justifications for their beliefs. Exactly. That's what it is. In fact, a lot of us, or actually most of us, most of the time, we don't come to these things logically. We feel, we have an initial reaction to something, and then we justify it in hindsight. That's kind of how the human being works. That's how the human mind works. Yeah, nice. And Joe says it's a good thing the second assassin was in a Black Rock promotional video. LOL. Yeah, I don't. Is that? Is this the guy from this weekend that you're talking about? Because I'm not sure about that. No, just looked at tribalism. Yeah, no, definitely a lot of tribalism that we're talking about. That's for sure. Oh, we're talking about the term that I used last week. I was calling that cognitive tribalism, I believe. Something that nice word, cognitive tribalism. Yeah, that was from last week. I come up with terms. I can't remember all the terms I'm coming up with. But thanks for the reminder. Yeah, cognitive tribalism. That was something we discussed a week ago. Joe says the claims are true. Not all 15,000 Haitians are doing it. Probably just a small percentage, but the reaction to the news makes it all more interesting. It does make the whole thing interesting. And often you can take a story that is not that interesting, right? If you were to tell me, hey, you know what? Some people killed some geese or something at a city park. I'd be like, well, that's no good. I'm not really interested in that. However, when you take the media, try to twist it and try to change reality and present it to you in a way, in a different way, to me, that's more interesting. So to me, the media's coverage of this story is actually more interesting than the story itself. Yeah. So anyway, but that's those are the thoughts that I had for you today. I did have one. I'll share one thing with you before I go, though. I went to a concert last night. I went and saw Danny Ocean, who's a Venezuelan singer. Had a show. It was a lot of fun. A lot of Venezuelans at the show last night. And for most of it, I was up in a seat. But then at the end of the show, I kind of walked down to the floor just to get a vibe for what the concert was like on the floor. And everyone was holding up their camera and recording video. And I mean, I don't know, it seemed like half the people had cameras up and they were videoing the concert. And when you're filming video at the very top, with an iPhone, it's got a little red bar on top. And I was looking around, and I don't know if this is all young people now, but there were, like I say, a lot of Venezuelans, a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Latin American people in the crowd. This was a Venezuelan artist. He sang in Spanish. He talked in Spanish. I don't think he said, I don't know, there might have been an English word or two in a song, but he spoke with the audience in Spanish. So it was mainly Latin audience members. And I was shocked that almost everyone there had an iPhone. Like nobody had an Android. I could tell when everyone was holding their phone up because of the distinctive like red bar when you're recording video. Everybody had an iPhone. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So have you noticed that? Have you been to a show recently and see? It seems like all young people have iPhones. It's really nuts. Even people from Venezuela have iPhones. I don't have an iPhone. They're very expensive. Not only that, I don't care for them. I had an iPhone. I got an iPhone once just so I could see what the hype was, but I didn't like that there's no back button, there's no home button. I don't know. So, maybe I'm too old for an iPhone. But anyway, that was something I noticed. Anyway, just a little something there on the side, but that's all I have for you today. I will be back on Wednesday with another idea. #CoffeeGang. Nice to see you, Gonzo. And you all have a great day. Until then, peace.